Let me show you a delusional family.
Archaeologist Flint Dibble says Hancock's claims reinforce white supremacist ideas, stripping indigenous people of their rich heritage, and instead giving credit to aliens or white people. Actually, I've never...
Did you really say that?
No, I said that this idea of Atlantis, the way it goes back 200 years, it has been used for those reasons.
So are you saying your quote is incorrect?
I think that it's editing me out of context, Graham. I've never called you a white supremacist or a racist.
No, hang on, that's because you're very, if I may say so, very slippery in the way that you deal with, because you know perfectly well that saying that my work encourages white supremacism and encourages racism is going to end up with me being tarred as a racist.
You're gonna learn today.
And you know very well that tarring somebody as a racist in this day, look, the results there, down there, make no mistake, Hancock is a white supremacist like Trump.
Look at this,
it's racist fiction pretending to be
These
science.
are not my words.
But
no,
I'm talking about your influence on media and culture.
Century.
So remember, it's clear. He didn't say it, and the other guy is saying, yeah, but your thing might be influencing the media. But the focus is, he didn't say it. Okay, let's continue.
Sources, you cite 16th century sources, and I label those as racist. And I see it as a problem to readapt those kind of sources without critiquing them, because this idea of a white Atlantis is what existed in the 19th century.
I have no such idea.
But you might not, but you're citing those sources uncritically.
Why should I not cite them?
And I never make that the foreground of anything that I write. I put that in there as a paragraph, and I say he should not be citing these kind of sources without critiquing them, because they do the harm. There's a lot of harm in the history.
Can you be specific about that? Like, what are these sources that you're citing about Atlantis, and why do you think that they reinforce white supremacy?
Yeah, sure. So the reason is because for a long time, Atlantis was used as a colonial justification by the Crown of Spain for claiming land in the New World. And so what this idea of Atlantis from the 16th build up into the 19th century with the book on Atlantis by Ignatius Donnelly, it described this as this kind of global superpower that was, European, and that was responsible for these monuments in indigenous areas. It stripped credit away from local cultures of their heritage.
Right, but he's not doing that.
I never said he did. I said that he's citing these sources.
But this is something that is a very nuanced subject. Mm-hmm. And when you say that it reinforces white supremacy...
Again, I said the sources do.
Oh.
Right, but go back to the quote, Jamie.
But
go back to the tweet.
But
listen, this quote here, reinforce white supremacist ideas, stripping indigenous people of the rich heritage, and instead giving credit to aliens or white people. None of those things are true.
I know. Graham doesn't even talk about aliens.
Right, but
and so
did
that's
you
why
say that?
You can cite anything, and then you can say that is racist, so you are racist too, because you didn't call the thing that you didn't see. No.
I know. Graham doesn't even talk about aliens.
Right, but
so
aliens or white people? None of those things are true.
I know. Graham doesn't even talk about aliens.
Right, but
and so
did
that's
you
why I'm
say that?
I said that not in specific relation to Hancock's claims, but in specific relation to this narrative of Atlantis that has gone back hundreds of years.
Right, but that...
Here's the Guardian. So they're misquoting you, are they? As Dibble states, such claims reinforce white supremacist ideas. They strip indigenous people of their rich heritage and instead give credit to aliens or white people. Why didn't you get the Guardian to put that right?
Well, I don't.
Did you actually say that, though?
I did not say that Graham reinforces white supremacist ideas.
Not today.
As I've said,
so this quote is not real?
They stripped the stories of Atlantis, yes, and I think that that's an issue. So Graham, you go around the world to megalithic sites, right?
So the quote reinforce white supremacist ideas. That's not yours.
No, that's not a quote. It's not in quotation.
Right, it was in the other article. That's what I'm getting
and
to.
Again,
they strip indigenous people of their rich heritage and give credit to aliens or white people.
Well,
in short, the series promotes ideas of race science that are outdated and long debunked. And this is your own...
Right, but that's not his quote,
This is your own article, Flint. Here you are. I'm quoting from... That's a quote from your article published in The Conversation. This sort of race science is outdated and long since debunked, especially given the strong links between Atlantis and Aryans proposed by several Nazi archaeologists. You are associating me with this, and you are attempting to
no,
get me
I'm asking
cancelled
you to
effectively.
distance yourself from that. Is
But
actually what I'm trying to do.
But that's not what you're doing, though. You're associating him with that, clearly.
Gentlemen, we got him.
Yeah, according to Atlantic County prosecutors, the abuse incidents happened both in December and January, and they're telling us that both the father and mother had both emotionally and physically abused their teenage daughter. The details in the affidavit state that in one incident, prosecutors say Atlantic City Mayor Marty Small hit the girl in the head with a broom, causing her to lose consciousness. In another alleged incident, details state that Small continuously threatened to hurt his daughter by, quote, earth slamming her down the stairs, also reporting that he said he'd grab her head, throw her to the ground, and smack her head. Prosecutors also alleged Mr. Small punched his daughter repeatedly in her legs and caused bruising.
And that's the major. I wonder how he will treat his people.
Now, the mother, Dr. LaQuetta Small, who is the superintendent of Atlantic City Public Schools, she's accused of punching her daughter multiple times on her chest, leaving bruising. In another incident, the Special Victims Unit reported Dr. Small dragged the teen by her hair, then hit her on her shoulders with a belt, leaving marks. They also say the 47-year-old punched her daughter in the mouth during an argument.
She's punching the daughter, 47-year-old, like a gangster, still got the energy, and she manages the public school. Why are they in such position of power?
That was really bad.
You're already enjoying it at home. Why do you need to do it at school? You failed at home?
Small held a press conference after county prosecutors' officers searched his home. He stood with his wife, their kids, his attorney, and the school superintendent, stressing politics were at play, and he was confident he'd be reelected later this year.
I beg your pardon.
We're dealing with a family matter. We've been dealing with DCP&P, who has been excellent. We're going through family therapy and all. And that's what this should be, is a family matter.
All I can say is this whole family gets the vibe. What happens at home stays at home. I'm from Atlantic City and I personally know the Atlantic City principal. I grew up at her parents' church. This what happens at home stays at home. BS is being exposed.
There's no book and no course that we took in college to show you how to be a parent. And more importantly, how to deal with the struggles of raising teenagers.
Sure, there is no book on how to be a good parent, but there is a culture on how to be a good parent. What happens at home stays at home.
Boy, that escalated quickly.
So are they wearing a mask every day?
Yes. But every time they go, they're always just wearing a mask. But the principal finally stood up and banned those stuff.
But they still wear them every day, and they don't get in trouble. The principal doesn't make them get in trouble.
Yeah. All the principal says is just be kind, be nice, be nice.
And then,
what's the point of dressing up like a furry?
I don't know. They think they're so cool that they want to
get a lot of
be
attention. I think they want attention. So people can come at them and just look at them and think that they're so cool.
Okay.
Also,
Are you guys going to be in trouble for walking out of school today?
No, maybe.
If we go back on school grounds, we will get in trouble.
Hopefully not. We're standing for our rights. We're standing for what the furries are wrong.
This is wrong. They should not be doing
Do your parents know you guys are out here?
Yes.
Okay.
They attack us. If they bite us and we just kick them, we get in trouble.
I'm not saying that we shouldn't be empathetic, but I know this. As a father with an autistic kid, it makes no sense to expect all the kids to understand that he has autism. It's not fair to them. And it's also not fair to my son to make him think that everybody will bow to him just because he has autism.
Ruled within the last hour that Daisha Lacey did not commit a criminal act of neglect that resulted in her 2-month-old baby's death. Lacey allegedly admitted in a police interview that she smothered her child while she was high on meth and tired. She allegedly put a pillow on the baby's face to make her stop crying. Lacey's other daughter, who was only 3 at the time, testified that she saw her mom put a pillow on her baby's face. But there was no medical or physical evidence presented at trial to show that the baby was smothered or that she died from suffocation. The judge said that the charges were not appropriate in this case.
Court accordingly enters judgment of not guilty, reluctantly. I do hope that you will take the opportunity to get the counseling that you need, to get the counseling for the children that you need, that you learn from this behavior, and hopefully the rest of the community learns from this behavior, that you cannot go out and party on the weekend and be with children.
Toxicology report did show meth in Daisha Lacey's system, but Judge Mark Stoner said if she had been charged with reckless homicide or involuntary manslaughter, he could have found her guilty. But she's not guilty of neglect of the dependent, resulting in death.
Lacey confessed that she wanted her daughter to stop crying just to be quiet so she could get some sleep. The mother, who was high on meth, smothered her daughter in the couch cushions. Judge Stoner said that the prosecutor didn't have enough to prove she intentionally harmed her baby. Lacey was facing 20 to 40 years in prison. She now walks free. All I have to say is this. These people have just normalized that somebody's rights to have fun is more important than the consequences that might lead to that.
Don't get me wrong, makosa kita bong. Put the fire na mi blonde kush hash purple skunk criollo colombici jam jam. Dur lo que ta verdetta welcome.